Hi, I'm Anna Mascorella, the Temple Buell Associate Curator of Architecture here at History Colorado. My position, generously funded by the Buell Foundation, is named in honor of Temple Buell, the prominent Colorado architect and developer. Now, History Colorado has a rich collection of architectural holdings, but as part of our contemporary collecting initiative, I'm working to expand our holdings by bringing in materials from the mid-20th century to the present, and I'm also working to diversify our architectural holdings. One collection that reflects these efforts is the John R. Henderson collection. This collection of architectural drawings, personal effects, was donated to History Colorado by John Henderson's son, Lynn Henderson. Now, John Henderson is Colorado's first licensed Black architect. He registered to practice architecture in Colorado on October 7, 1959. Henderson worked for prominent architectural firms in Denver, including Hornbeam and White and James Sudler and Associates. But the work he was most proud of was the mid-century modern home he designed for his family here in Denver at 26 and Milwaukee. Now, this collecting project really was part of collaboration with Historic Denver, who had been working with Mr. Henderson and his family to landmark that mid-century modern home. Here are two architectural drawings of that landmarked home. Here we see an elevation, which is one side of the building. This reflects the north addition to the building in 1971. We also have another architectural drawing here that shows some of the details of the extensive built-ins in the home. This mid-century modern home reflects the influence of modernist architect Mies van der Rohe on Mr. Henderson. Mr. Henderson looked at Mies van der Rohe's less is more aesthetic, and that is really reflected in a lot of the details in the home. So here, when we look at the elevation of the building, we notice that there are glass walls. That glass wall is really part of that modernist aesthetic, that less is more attitude that was promoted by Mies van der Rohe. But we also have some other mid-century modern detailings that are reflected in these built-ins. Here you can see built-in cupboarding to hold handbags and shoes, very specific details for the family that's reflected in the home that Mr. Henderson designed for his wife and son. We also have his wallet, which is filled with his architecture licenses and renewals, and we also have one of his drafting tools. These personal effects really help us, as part of our collecting initiative, get to the heart of the person behind the drawing. So it's not just about the architect, but it's also about those personal touches that offer insight into who he is and who he was. Now, this collection is supported by a couple other related collections. We have oral history interviews taken by Historic Denver as part of their research to landmark the home. And I also personally carried out an oral history with Lynn Henderson. For those of you who may not be familiar, History Colorado's Diversity Fellowship Program encourages undergraduate or graduate students from diverse communities to explore collections-related work and the challenges museums, historical institutions, and cultural organizations face with regard to inclusion, narrative, and the workforce. For the Fall 2020 Temple Buell Diversity Fellowship, I am working with an architecture student at CU Denver's College of Architecture and Planning. This student, Sean Lee, is remotely cataloging John Henderson's architectural drawings. This fantastic project is going to result in Mr. Henderson's work being available in our online collection. There will also be a blog about Mr. Henderson on the History Colorado website, and his work will also be featured at CU Denver's College of Architecture and Planning in an exhibition this coming spring. Mr. Henderson's work will also be on display here at History Colorado as part of our Building Denver exhibition. This exhibition, which explores the history of Denver's architectural and urban development, will not only feature Mr. Henderson's work, but many of the architecture collections that I've brought into History Colorado as part of our contemporary collecting initiative. I hope you enjoyed this look at the John R. Henderson collection.